A new passive money method has made its way to GTA Online, with the Chop Shop DLC releasing a few days ago and adding a new business called the Salvage Yard. The main focus of the update is a series of complex robbery missions that has you stealing and then selling valuable vehicles. But with a staggering cooldown of up to 1 week, it left the community quite disappointed when it came to the return on their investment. But thanks to the tow truck side business that comes with the Salvage Yard, there's now a new and reliable method for earning some top-notch passive income. The first thing you'll need is the Salvage Yard business itself. There's 2 locations up north and then 3 down here in the city. A lot of the missions are city-based, so I chose to go with that. And out of the 3, I personally liked Murrieta Heights the best. As for upgrades, both tint and trade rates aren't required for this method whatsoever, so you can ignore them completely. When it comes to the tow truck, they're both exactly the same in regards to performance and durability, so unless you've got money to burn, I advise going with the beta at pretty much half the price. The wall safe allows you to store more passive income at one time before collecting it, but it's not strictly necessary, and at 750k it's quite an expensive purchase. I'll cover more on that in a bit. I do definitely recommend getting the staff upgrade though. You don't directly need it to make money, but it literally doubles the efficiency of the tow truck operation. For the most part, the passive money in the Salvage Yard works a lot like the nightclub, where it slowly builds up over time and you just drop in to collect it from the safe before it maxes out. The only real difference is instead of having a visible popularity bar and increasing it with promotion missions, you keep your earnings topped up by towing and returning cars to the business once every 2 or 3 hours. You can only collect 2 at a time though, and then you have to wait for them to get salvaged before you can earn your money. With the staff upgrade I mentioned before, that process will take 48 minutes or 1 in-game day, but without the upgrade, it'll take 96 minutes or 2 in-game days. So like I said, it doubles the output of the business and will ultimately earn you a lot more money. Don't stress if you can't afford it though. You do have the option of upgrading it later. Plus the staff members will continue to salvage cars even when you're offline, so you could always just check out and come back to it later. The tow truck missions themselves are really easy, and honestly, I've been quite enjoying them. They're super chill, and they make a nice change of pace from the usual grind. Simply drive to the marked location, lower the towing arm, and connect it up to the car so you can then drive it back to the salvage yard. In most situations, your journey will be peaceful and without any disturbance, but about 20% of the time you'll get noticed by the cops and you'll have to lose them before returning. You can of course do this the normal way, but if you want to speed up the process, you can always jump out of the truck and move a safe distance away before blowing yourself up, or simply allow the cops to take care of it for you. When you respawn, you'll be just around the corner and you won't get another wanted level when you get back inside the vehicle, making the whole thing a hell of a lot easier. The best part about it though is unlike just about every other car delivery mission in the game, damage is not a factor whatsoever. You can dent this thing worse than Steven Tyler's face and you won't lose a cent. So just sit back, put on your favourite tunes and enjoy the ride. Most of the time, you'll only have to drive between 1 and 2 miles, but occasionally the game likes to screw you over and you'll get a pickup on the other side of the map. If it's not an especially valuable car, or you simply can't be bothered driving all that way, you can always blow up the truck and a new one will immediately respawn back at the salvage yard. If you feel that you've come too far, or like me, you're just a bit too lazy to get out, blow it up, and go back to the business, you can also change to a new session and restart the mission that way. Just make sure that your spawn point is set to the salvage yard, and you'll load straight back in where you can get started right away without any form of cooldown timer or anything like that. That'll allow you to re-roll for a new mission where 9 times out of 10 it'll be a closer location, as most of the pickups are in and around the city. As for how much money you can make, well, it gets broken down into 2 parts. Direct money that you earn from the cars themselves, and an additional passive income that collects in the safe. Once the mechanics have salvaged the car, after 1 or 2 in-game days depending on your upgrades, you'll get paid a lump sum which will fall in the range of 30 to 60k. In my experience, top of the range 60k cars were pretty rare though, and most of the time I was getting vehicles that were only worth 30 to 40k, but they are super simple to collect, and with the additional passive income that you get from the safe, it's definitely worth checking out if you already own the business. The money in the safe will increase once every in-game day or 48 minutes real time, and how much you get will depend on how many vehicles you've recently towed. To get the max daily payout of 24k, you'll need to collect a total of 4 cars and deliver them back to the salvage yard. Fortunately though, this method is pretty forgiving, and the payouts won't reduce at all for 2 in-game days, or 96 minutes. So after just over 1.5 hours, you'll get knocked down to 21k, and then 1.5 hours after that, it'll go down to 19k, and so on and so on. Really, that's not too bad, and unless you're obsessed with getting the maximum amount of money possible, you really only need to jump in and do a couple of towing missions once every 3 or 4 hours, and you'll still be getting some pretty decent passive money. Granted, that's not completely passive, but the deliveries really do only take a couple of minutes, and with you only being required to do them once every few hours, it puts it on a similar level to the nightclub or the acid lab when compared to promotion missions and sales. Just make sure you do collect that cash on a regular basis. If you've got a standard safe like this, it's got a max capacity of 100k. If however you've got the wall safe upgrade from the purchase page we looked at earlier, your capacity will be 250k. Now that is a decent improvement, but considering it costs 750k to install it, you're going to need to wait quite a while before you see that money again. And honestly, 100k is still quite a generous capacity considering it's totally free. It'll still take a while to fill it up, and if you plan on visiting the salvage yard on a regular basis, it's easy enough to just pop in and collect your cash. So really, the only question that remains is if this business is worth buying strictly for the passive money alone, and honestly, I'm kind of on the fence. This property is a lot more expensive than the last few that were added to the game, and while the tow truck side hustle is definitely a good little earner, that alone will take quite a while to start turning a profit on the overall cost of the operation. But if you're buying the business anyway because you want to check out the new content, it's a worthy addition to your passive income. If you found this video useful, hitting the like button down below would most certainly be appreciated. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe as well. I make top-notch money guides for all things GTA Online, and I've got some very exciting content coming your way, which you definitely don't want to miss. But until we meet again, legends, I'm Red Nitrate, and I'll catch you on the next one.